Hello everyone, and our Anzac Day coverage on Fox League Classics Live continues right now with a match that you have voted as the one you most want to see. It is the Roosters and Dragons Anzac Day battle from 2005. Now back then, 2005, the tradition of the Roosters against the Dragons on Anzac Day is still young. It is only the fourth year, but already there are signs it's going to be something special. 3 matches in the previous years decided by 4 points or less. In commentary for the 2005 Anzac Day match, Greg Alexander, Cooper Cronk.
Andrew.
Cooper, can I say on behalf of all players, if you could, the privilege of playing on Anzac Day, something special?
Yeah, it's highly emotional. I think a lot of players have, grandparents or great-grandparents connected to war, and I think it's really special here in Australia that while sport is, you can't compare to war in terms of the ultimate sacrifice, I think it's really important that rugby league plays a part in celebrating what our current and past veterans have done for this country. Yeah,
well said. Now, Brandy, let's set the scene going into this game. 2005, round 7. Roosters are 3-3. Haven't set the world on fire post Brad Fittler retirement, but the Dragons are under pressure. They are on the rack. They've won only one of their first 6 matches. Nathan Brown, his head is on the chopping block.
Yeah, I don't think there's a coach in the game at the moment that's under more pressure than Nathan Brown is. And I'm sure that there was discussions between Peter Dowse, the CEO, and the board leading into this Anzac Day game as to whether Nathan Brown would continue on as coach if they get beaten. There's enormous pressure. The Dragons have to win this game. Now, they lost their first 4. They beat Manly, but then they were beaten last week by the Brisbane Broncos, and they sit in 14th. There's only the Newcastle Knights, and they're averaging 32 points against them in every game.
32 points a game, average conceded. And keep in mind, the game they won against Manly, they won that 32-6. So the other 5 games have been absolute disasters, and the Roosters sitting in 10th position. Raiders, Sea Eagles and Sharks showing the way at the top of the ladder. Cooper, what about this Roosters side? I mentioned it is the post-Brad Fittler era. They haven't quite adapted as yet.
No, they haven't. They've used 4 different halves pairing leading into this game, but they've still got Dalian, fullback of the year last year, Anthony Minicello at fullback, Chris Walker and Joel Monahan on the wings, Ryan Cross and Chris Flannery in the centres. Amos Roberts, he's come over from Penrith to start at the Roosters this year. It's only his 6th career start in the halves, normally plays on the wing. He'll partner Brett Finch at halfback. Jason Kalis, Adrian Morley are the front rowers. Stuart Webb comes off the bench to replace Craig Wing in the starting team. Big back row, representative back row, Michael Crocker, Craig Fitzgibbon and the captain, Luke Ricketson. As we said, Craig Wing goes back to the bench, and some young forwards on the bench to finish off the Roosters card. Richard Fiaso, Ben Hannant, Anthony Tupu, and coach is Ricky Stewart.
Yeah, Ricky Stewart is coach of the Roosters up against the embattled Nathan Brown. Brandy, I'll get you to run through this Dragons outfit.
Yeah, there's the skipper, Trent Barrett, but at the back it's Ben Hornby, Colin Best on the wing along with Wes Nagama. The centres, Mark Gasnier and Matt Cooper. Barrett and Matthew Head of the halves. Luke Bailey and Jason Rolls, very good front row. Dean Young, the hooker. Ben Cray, Lance Thompson and Sean Timmins are the back rowers. Willie Manu, Justin Paul, Michael Ennis and Albert Torrens are the interchange bench, and Nathan Brown, the under pressure Nathan Brown, the coach.
Well, let's recap on the history of Anzac Day matches. Dragons and Roosters, 2002. Roosters defeated the Dragons 24-20, but there have been 3 close encounters each year.
Yeah, 3 absolute thrillers. And you're right, Brad Fittler had a belter of a game in 2002. And, of course, the Roosters at that stage were 3-time grand finalists. So, too, they beat the Warriors, and then they lost 0-3 to the Panthers. They lost 0-4 to the Dogs, but it was a very consistent side. And the Dragons, well, they got off to a great start in 0-3, Coop, but Roosters came close, just couldn't run them down.
Yeah, obviously 3 years going into this game, and great try here down the right-hand edge by the Dragons. Inside here's Amos Roberts, who's played at the Dragons, who played at Penrith, and he's going to play for the Roosters today. So 3 encounters here on Anzac Day and some really close ones. And this one from 0-4 last year, it was Brad Fittler. Really close game, and here's Freddie with the left foot step under the sticks and gets the Roosters up to a win 11-8 in the last encounter.
That is one of the most memorable moments of Freddie's career, the man that you know so well. Brandy, You remember him on debut doing that out at Campbelltown, the step, and here he is in his final season doing the same to score a try on a very, very big day.
Yeah, look, the sidestep is just synonymous with Freddie, and it was right from the start. 1989 against Western Suburbs at Arana Park, came on the field and just opened the Western Suburbs defence up, continued to do it through his whole career. And you're right, that the image of that try is something that I think many Brad Fittler or Roosters fans will remember about his career.
All righty, let's get into the game. The venue is Aussie Stadium, also known as Sydney Football Stadium, one of the best in the business. Mr. Bean, Sean Hampstead in charge. And Anzac Day 2005 underway. Dragons against the Roosters. And it is Adrian Morley, the Englishman, with the first run of the match, sent off last week, but exonerated. Sent off after 48 minutes. They went on to beat the Dogs. Kalis has lost the ball. And Gazdia comes up with it for the Dragons. So this is an early chance for the St George Illawarra side. Lance Thompson rips in to Fitzgibbon. And Webb and Kalis all there. Webb in jumper 14, but starting hooker with Wing on the bench. On it comes for Bailey. Offloaded. Oh, if Craig had have got the pass away. Probably overlap on left-hand side with Cooper waiting. Now Young back for Head and Barrett. He went around the back of Thompson. Ends up in the hands of Colin Best. Best with 4 tries already this season in 2005. The captain Barrett. His kick almost hit Hampstead. Minicello at full pace. And the Roosters have recovered from that early error.
Yeah, not a great start. Jason Rolls spilling the ball.
Oh, they've done it again.
Kalis spilled it first time. That was Luke Ricketson,
the captain.
They offer the Dragons another shot at their line.
Well, Ricky Stewart, he'll be spitting chips right now. 2 drop balls, opening 2 sets. And here come the Dragons again. And a penalty almost right in front of the posts. So Riles was held down there. And Hampstead onto it. And if you want a settler, it's an easy 2 points for Matt Head, who's been kicking exceptionally well this season at 85% going into today.
A shocking start from the Roosters here. But you can't get out of their own end, and obviously the Dragons going to take the 2 to take the ascendance in his early parts. Ricketson, the captain, dropping the ball there the second time now. But the Roosters' defensive line are really getting up and frustrating the Dragons in this first 3 minutes. So look to Trent Barrett, maybe throw that long ball over the top or kick him behind again.
The stadium, great venue with a big crowd. And it's a big crowd in to watch this one. And Matthew Head with his first kick of the day. He's missed only 3 shots all season. And the Dragons lead by 2 points to 0. Head combining with Barrett in the halves and Ricky Stewart at the Roosters. Pairing Finch with Roberts.
Yeah, he wouldn't be impressed, would he, Ricky? You just saw that glum look on his face. You'd be wondering what you said to them before the game that would make them go out and play like that. 2 drop balls, a horrid start from the Roosters.
And one of those from Luke Ricketson in game 287. It's not like the rookie with nerves. It's one of the veterans of the competition. Bailey to bring it back. Oh, he was collected a little high there, I thought, by Crocker. Plenty of Origin experience on show in this match as well. As now for Cray, he's one of the younger players at 20 years of age. Only his 27th game in the top grade. Nagama is a rookie, his first year in the top grade. 4th match today for Wes. Only 22 years of age. Now to centre field for Timmins. And Fitzgibbon there high. Webb went down low. Good defender, Stuart Webb for the Roosters. This is Barrett. On to Thompson. Has got inside of Ryan Cross. Lancers showing some pace there. A flash of red hair downfield at Aussie Stadium. Wonderful sight. Barrett for Head. 25 minutes out. Last tackle. Bullet pass out to Cooper. Cooper can't link up with Nagama. And the Roosters hang on. A raid from the Dragons that has gone 90 metres.
Yeah, Trent Barrett setting up for a kick, and there was a Roosters defender that shot out of the line, and that opened up a bit of space through the dummy. Barrett picked up Lance Thompson. They made 40 metres on the run and then almost able to score a try in that left corner. They turn the ball over, and now the Roosters, do they get a penalty? by God, they need one. No.
Well, Morley got up disgusted with it all and threw the ball. I think he wanted to hit an opponent, but it is now 3 sets of 6. Yes, Cray's hand was there, but not detected by the referee. Morley took a shot at the back of Luke Bailey's head. 3 sets, inside 5 minutes, and they've shot themselves in the foot every time. And a disgraceful start by the Roosters with their handling. So St George Illawarra, Young for Barrett, and a cross with Hornby into the line. Oh, that's too easy. Hornby got around the back of Amos Roberts. I don't think Ben could believe it. How easy was the run to the line, and the Dragons making the Roosters pay for some terrible handling.
The passing skills of Trent Barrett are on show in this first 5 minutes. Amos Roberts defending a few positions infield than he normally used to, but look at this silky pass. Barrett on the out just hits Hornby. Hornby gets on the outside of Roberts and shut the gate. His speed gets him in the end then, but look at the test of the Roosters' right edge defence. Roberts defending in the centre position, Crocker's inside him and Monahan on the wing, and Hornby just exposed it with a brilliant pass from Trent Barrett.
Well, they couldn't have made a worse start, the Roosters. They've just turned the ball over in their own 20-metre area 3 times. So I guess they had to pay some sort of toll or some sort of price for that. And the Dragons were able to score. Matthew Head, who's kicked very well this year, 17 from 20 so far, now 17 from 21, not his best strike. He'd be happy about what he's seen early. Nathan Brown.
Always fearful of the position, the full support of the board, but that may come next week when Nathan Brown will front the board. If the Dragons were to lose here,
that support will disappear.
That's what no, but if the press release came out, he has the full support, well then that's it. He won't be there by round 9. He'll be gone. So it's a massive game in the coaching career of Nathan Brown, as kick is a mid-range one for Cray to pick up. We saw him make his debut on the wing a couple of seasons ago out at Cogra. It was a shaky debut, but he's progressing nicely now and into the pack. This is Dean Young pushing on for Bailey. Terrific front row. Bailey and Riles, and then with that back row of Cray, Thompson and Timmins, and Dean Young at hooker. You wonder how the Dragons could be going so badly to start the year. Just inside the Roosters half, and played by Riles. Barrett will kick from 45 metres out. Kick placed, but Minicello is there. The 24-year-old Roosters fullback. Already 5 origins and 12 tests in his career. One of the stars of our game, Anthony Minicello. Oh, they've done it again. Walker's lost it. They get a penalty. Otherwise, Walker might have been off, not on. But Hampstead said strip. What can you go to the record books? What are the most number of drop balls inside your own 30-metre zone in 10 minutes?
Gee, that might have been a tough call too against Sean Timmins. Like, his arm might have came in contact with the ball, but I thought it was just a loose carry.
Well, maybe that's one back for Morley's. And Brett Finch will look for line now. Finch.
That would have been the record.
That was the record, wasn't
it? 4.
Was it? Wow. Finch kicked a field goal in last year's Anzac Day match. That 11 points to 8 victory by the Roosters. He's back up here. That one origin in 04 for Brett Finch as well. So Ricketson to play it. Webb quickly on that advantage line for Kalis.
Well, that's 10 minutes now the game's been going. This is the first time the Roosters have had the ball in the Dragons' half.
Webb and Finch and switch. As Crocker was straight onto it, and Cray just stood his ground. Now Finch, a kick to the corner. Nagama turned around. Hornby's got it covered. He's super reliable at fullback. Yes, it's a line dropout, but in Ben Hornby they trust at the back, the Dragons.
The first attacking set in the first 10 minutes, as you mentioned, Brandy, but really nice touches from Brett Finch there. There's a lot of pressure on Finch today off the back of Brett Fitley era, where there's 4 different combinations used up until this round clash. So Brett Finch is going to have to put his hands all over the football with Amos Roberts coming in from the wing. So let's see how they set up. They played one switch inside play. Let's see what they do in this set.
A great day to commemorate and celebrate, and fans still coming into Aussie Stadium now. Morley's wound up, and Thompson, oh, he got down low, and the ball is coughed up by the Roosters. They can do it at both ends, Brandy. The Roosters, they don't have to be in their own half to drop the ball. Morley's dropped it on one.
Well, first time they get the ball down this end, they get a repeat set, and Adrian Morley just turns it over. Boy, Ricky Stewart. He'll be on the field soon, Rick. He'll be on there just dragging players off.
He'll take Ron Coote on with him and a few others. Ferris Ashton, he'll run them out and say, see how we go. So Dragons just outside the 40. Young and Head. Bailey ready for another one. Bull Bailey. But, Finch gets interested with the work down low from Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon, an Illawarra junior, out to Gaznia, the step, the offload straight to Finchy. They should work together, those two, and Gaznia couldn't have passed it any more direct to Brett Finch. So 5 metres inside their own half, the Roosters. Webb, Crocker fired up, but when is it? He gets fired up Christmas Day. Fitzgibbon to play it. For all the errors by the Roosters, it is only 6-0. Here's Kalis. Now 35 from the line, halfway through the set. 11.5 minutes into the game. Finch, oh, that's a staggered Dragons line. Back to Minicello. And the Mini has scored. And the Dragons' defensive woes of the first 6 rounds highlighted right there. Total breakdown.
Cooper just mentioned Brett Finch and the pressure on him and the responsibility on his shoulders. With no Brad Fittler, he needs to take control, and he certainly did. There's the Gaznia pass to that man, Brett Finch. They have their second attacking set inside the Dragons' half, and they forgot about him. He threw a dummy and just slid through a huge hole. Picked up Minicello back on the inside. And look at the size of the space there that Finch ran into, and a nice pass, nice inside pass to Minicello.
Normally Moses parts the season. Brett Finch parted right there, because you want to know why they're the second worst defensive team in the comp after 6 rounds is exactly that exact example there. Jason Rolls just comes up too far past the football. Brett Finch sees it, pushes straight through, inside pass back to Minicello.
The biblical reference of Brett Finch must have been edited out many centuries ago. Moses and Finch in the same sentence. Amazing stuff, Cooper Cronk. But yeah, it was an odd one, because Luke Bailey, the defender either side of Luke, was 5 metres in front of him. I don't know what happened to Luke, or he was back on his heels. But
well, they were just assuming that Finch was going to pass the ball, and as a defensive player, you can't assume anything.
Yeah, as a defensive line, you try and keep a straight line. Once you have stagnant lines or triangles starting to form, that's when quick halves and support players get through and create some damage.
Fox League Classics Live, Anzac Day 2005. And it is 6-all, the tradition. It's only been 3 years these sides have played, but close matches the order of the day. And now we've got a 6-all scoreline through 13.5 minutes. For those who like a bit of history, the first ever round of Anzac Day matches was 1927, and the Eastern Suburbs Roosters played the St George Dragons. Look at Lance Thompson's reaction as Sean Hampstead went through to award the try. Lance wears his heart on his sleeve, or as Ben Elias once said, his shoulder on his sleeve, and you saw it there. There's Hornby back with it for St George Illawarra. Fatty Vaughton, he'd be probably the only red-headed back rower who wasn't fired up. He was a lover, not a fighter. But everyone else is angry and aggressive. Now Nagama with the ball for St George Illawarra to halfway. But Fatty will tell you he could have slapped with the best of them. And here's Riles, 40 away from the Roosters line now at 6-all. And Young and Matthew Head got around the back of Fitzgibbon there. Kalis on him, Hornby. Barrett, the bomb from 30 metres out, right to the corner, 15 out it came down, Webb tripped over, it's ended up in the hands of Gaznia, kept alive, and they're able to shut it down. Finch is the saviour there for the Roosters.
I didn't see many Roosters there trying to close that kick down. They allowed the ball to be tapped back, and Gaznia, dangerous situation to see him get a bouncing ball. Finch did well to shut down Trent Barrett.
Minicello off of Fitzgibbon, offload there. It's a grand final winning experience aplenty in this Roosters side. Cross, also grand final defeat experience as well. The last two haven't gone to plan. There's Webb, 5 short of halfway. Crocker now, and it will be Finch to kick. Looked pretty comfortable right there, but couldn't find the grass, and Hornby will bring it back. Whoa! Almost to the 30. There's Morley. Oh, you've got to pick someone else to run at. And they've forced the error. Adrian Morley is a rugby league hitman.
It's a fine line with Adrian Morley, and so often he does get it wrong, but this time just launched himself, dropped the shoulder. That was enough to knock the ball free from Ben Hornby.
And I think the Roosters really apply themselves physically in defence, and Morley always leads that. You see Fitzgibbon, Ricketson getting amongst it, so let's see how they jump on the back of this advantage they've got now in their attacking set.
What a player he is, no nonsense, absolutely. Adrian Morley, now Flannery. And the ground he goes. Roberts hit the deck, yet to really see Amos Roberts put a touch or his stamp on the game. Webb to play it, 10 away. Crocker, or 20 away, and Finch back inside. Morley 15 out with Webb. And Ricketson quickly for Finch. Finch on. Now Roberts gets his chance. Oh, he was looking to form a tunnel to throw a pass there. Quickly on. Fitzgibbon for Roberts. Roberts for Webb. Roberts last year at the Panthers, incredibly, his try tally was 23 for the season. Now Finch on the last tackle. Monahan's getting through. Nagama hasn't cut it off. Hornby's ended up with it. Monahan is quite a target for the kick. Pressure on St George Illawarra.
Well, the kick did look too deep. There's the dead ball line there. There was a swipe at the footy, but I don't think there was any hands on it.
The Monahan ability in the end, you'd be going there all day on Raguama there. He's obviously under pressure, the young fella, in the first couple of matches, but put it up on top, let Monahan come down with it, and the pressure now firmly in the Roosters.
18 minutes gone. Fox League Classics Live 2005. Anzac Day, Roosters and Dragons at Aussie Stadium. Finch inside for Crocker there. Cray was around the legs. Quick play the ball. Finch again. Finch is running the show now. Webb with the ball. Webb offloads for Kalis. And Kalis showing a little bit of footwork in that run. Stuart Webb, 10 from the line. Ricketson, the old fella. Then for Finch. Out it comes. Minicello. Oh, Mini. I think he was trying to work the arms free to launch into a dive, and it came loose. Close call.
You're right, Andrew. He was trying to get those arms free because Gasnier had wrapped him up quite well. Throws the dummy. There's Gasnier, arms all around him. Might have got a touch on the footy, which dislodged the ball. All that pressure in the opening 10 minutes has flipped on its head. The Roosters now with all the possession and field position.
So St George Illawarra short side with Gasnier. What a mover he is, but he's going to be manhandled by the Roosters defence. A Dragon is squashed right there. Gasnier cops the treatment.
He's got some of the best footwork in the game, Gasnier. He beats his opposite centre on the outside and inside, but in this occasion he tries to take on Ryan Cross, but here comes Brett Finch from the side. Fitzgibbon, they get under him, and here Fitzgibbon gets him underneath and takes him over the touch. Don't they love it? Look at Walker.
Once he stepped to the outside, he would have known he was in trouble. Gasnier, they went down that short side. Another set for the Roosters.
Finch is having a big one here for the Roosters. Minicello at 6-all. Young Justin Poore is on for the Dragons. Riles to the bench. Ricketson now with it. Poore just 20 years of age, but one of the best young props in the club. Now Finch, switching play. Crocker. There was Cooper. Big star set appearing for the Dragons. Cooper on the left, Gasnier right, Roberts here, Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon's offloaded. And this time with Tupou, who loves to offload. Kept alive by Roberts. Minicello, there's Cross. Cross has got past one turnstile. And stopped by Hornby at the finish, who's penalised. Sean Hampstead. Saying high, in fact, is he?
Yeah, he copped one. Ryan Cross, you said turnstile. Well, it wasn't turnstile, but he got him right across the chops.
I think Barrett wanting to soak up a little time there with his side under so much pressure. Fitzgibbon with the ball. This is a Roosters side that dead set couldn't catch a cold in the opening 10 minutes. They dropped everything. Now Finch. Finch inside for Tupou. The 22-year-old back rower almost through. Webb And Roberts, they ran up. Oh, the ball put down by Flannery. Seemed like a late decision to try and get the pass to him, and he was almost past, and Dragons have the ball.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best spot to have Amos Roberts on a short side trying to play some subtle football. It looks like they're trying to work right to get Amos Roberts space on the left-hand side to attack Gasnier and Barrett with some footwork and speed. But here come the Dragons getting out of their own end. They'll be looking for a nice, decent set, maybe target down, channel their left-hand side, and Barrett to kick long.
Getting Craig Wing ready to come on for the Roosters in this 2005 Fox League Classics live match from the Sydney Football Stadium.
Well, they'd be desperate to get to a kick, the Dragons. They've just turned it over consistently in the last 10 minutes.
This has got down to the wire written all over it. This match already through 18.5 minutes. The early dominance Dragons, Roosters since. Now Walker to bring it back. Oh, Walker! Wow, there's a tackle from Justin Poor. That was technically brilliant from the young front rower. Monahan. Poor, just 20 years of age, 26th game of first grade today. Timmins unable to make the tackle, but the ball spat out. And Minicello ended up with it for the Roosters. Now Wing, nice and flat, right up the centre. Tupou caught by Thompson. Took off the mark a good 5 metres. But how direct is this from the Roosters? Cross, then Fitzgibbon. Walker, he finds him. Walker quickly back in. Wing with the ball. And again, the Dragons find themselves defending deep inside their territory. Finch with time to kick, looking for Monahan. Monahan, a clean catch. Got it to Crocker. Back to Roberts. They've got it forward, I think. Dragons will have the ball.
Well, there's no doubt he's a target, Joel Monahan. A terrific grab, both arms up above his head, got it back in, and I'm sure we'll see plenty more of that from Brett Finch.
I like the interchange from Ricky Stewart bringing on Craig Wing. The Energizer Bunny coming out and bouncing around, but also some really crafty play around that middle, put Tupou through, and then a little exchange down the left-hand side. So let's see a little bit more of that from Craig Wing getting out from dummy half.
23 minutes has now flashed by in this Fox League Classics live match from 2005. You wanted to see it. Timmins with the ball. And caught between two there. Really like the look of Tupou. Almost a sort of a super sub for this Roosters side. Flannery up there with a ball and all tackle. And the Dragons 15 metres inside their own half. And with it is Young. This is a set that's not exactly oozing with energy. Heads kick, fielded by Minicello. And he's looking to track across towards Walker's wing. And Bailey's got a good hold of him with Thompson. So one try apiece. Hornby scored it for the Dragons. And then the reply was Minicello, the opposite fullback for the Roosters. Now Wing, wow, Roosters disorganised there. Roberts with it. Kalis. Oh, Kalis has lost it. It's a strip. What about that Wing out of dummy half? He turned around thinking there'll be a runner. There was no one ready to run.
You said the Dragons set coming out of their own end was a bit haphazard, as has the Roosters been. And gee, that's a tough one there. He was trying to pass the ball, Kalis, and there was no touch on the ball from Bailey. He just grabbed the arm.
So Fitzgibbon on the run. He's not picked up by our one referee, Sean Hampstead, or the two sideline officials. Oh, Finch has kicked early, looking for Walker. We know he's quick, but Best is there. Colin Best gets back for it. That real little warning shot fired there by Finch.
Not sure about the early kick there, Vossi, but geez, they're going down that short side a lot of times. A lot of switches back in the middle of the ruck, trying to find Minicello back through on a lazy defender. And Finch gets a drop off, goes down the short side, kicks it. Lucky that the ball bounced up. Colin Best was taken up. Another repeat set.
You like Finch as a player, Brandy? I mean, it's big responsibility. Fittler retires. Finch now is running the show.
Yeah, look, I think he's been busy today. I've liked what he's done for the Roosters. He's inside, outside, and had a go himself a couple of times.
Former Knights ball boy, Brett Finch, now 23 years of age. This Fox League Classics Live 2005 Anzac Day match. Oh, Crocker's lost it, then wanted to throw a punch. I think. He lost the ball. I thought he was going to shape up. He's only got himself to blame for the drop ball. He was looking to throw one at Michael Ennis. Do you think Michael Ennis may have said something? He's got a bit of a reputation, young Michael.
Could have dropped a word or two, I reckon, Mick.
And now Thompson has got it away. Gazdia with it. Oh, he's lost it, Gazdia. Gazdia loses the ball. Not sure what he's saying there. It's a penalty to the Dragons. Is he saying that he took a quick tap? I don't think so.
A terrific run from Lance Thompson and the ball out to Gazdia. Well, you could argue that was a strip.
I see what he's saying. Gazdia's argument, but the whistle had already blown for penalty. But Gaz had a case. And now head. Oh, boy. What have we done to Mark here? Well, that is a mixed bag over the last minute for Mark Gazdia.
We've seen it all in this first sort of half and a bit. There's no doubt that they're playing some really good football, a little bit expansive, but then just the simple errors. Gazdia was looking what he wanted to beat Ryan Cross on the outside or inside there, but both teams have their chances. Both teams are dropping the football.
It's a Dragon side, a reflection of a really tough first 6 weeks. I mean, confidence is down. 1 win, 5 losses, big points conceded, coach under pressure, nothing but negative headlines. You can't just flick a switch and it's going to happen. Nice footwork there by Crocker to get past one. Risky ball. Oh, and then Wings put it down. Boy, if they're getting paid by the drop, there's going to be some rich players out there today, but Hampstead's blown another penalty. But the ball has seen plenty of grass here at Aussie Stadium.
Yeah, and even though the Dragons have spilled a fair bit of ball in the last 15 or 20 minutes, they are troubling the Roosters' defence. They're making some openings. They just can't ice it.
Edge on to Roberts. Famous Amos straight through the centre, then away to wing. Oh, love to see Amos find open space. What an entertainer. The Dragons fans know it all too well. Ricketson, Fedge is going to burrow as hard as he can. 5 away from the line. And the poor tackle. Ricketson this time for Flannery. Flannery equally at home in the back row as the centre. This is wing. On it comes for young Hannett, the 20-year-old front rower, the polar bear. Tackled there by Ennis. And Bailey in front of the post, wing, left side, Finch nicely held up. Minicello, cross with the hands of a surgeon. On to Chris Walker to score. Lining up, I didn't think there was an overlap, but somehow one was found. And the Roosters hit the front by 4.
A terrific left side play there, and it was the hands of Ryan Cross. That was the money ball. Finch, the long ball. Here's Roberts bust. He's a very talented footballer. Roberts gets the pass away. That has the Dragons' defence on the back foot. They then go left. Finch out the back to Minicello. Quick hands. That's a great ball from Ryan Cross to put Chris Walker down the sideline for the Roosters' second try.
Outstanding skill from Ryan Cross, but put it down to the lead runners off Finch there. Both pushing into hold up Barrett, hold up Gazdia. Fitzgibbon was the lead runner on the outside, and that gave enough chances for the space for the passes to stick down that left edge.
Fitzgibbon grand finals for both the Roosters and St George Illawarra, and great kick. We all love Fitzy. He's hard not to like. The Roosters lead the Dragons by 12 points to 6 on the back of Chris Walker scoring his first try of 2005.
Just pictures then of, again, the pass from Ryan Cross and the split second that Cooper was talking about those lead runners created. Just enough time for Cross to catch and release.
So Nagama will restart play, and the Dragons down for the first time in the match through 30 minutes. And the pressure valve gets turned up even more now on St George Illawarra.
Well, the last 20 minutes, it's the Dragon side of the opening 6 rounds. Just can't hang on to the football. Defence isn't strong. They look in attack, just not confident of what each other's doing.
3 of the first 4 weeks, 46 conceded against the Bulldogs, 46 against Melbourne, and then 42 round 4 against Canberra, and this is why their defence is cut to ribbons by the Roosters. Here they come again. Flannery to Monahan. Cooper getting across, so his head. Nagama. But, oh, they've done the job. They've got him over the sideline. Our cameraman was ducking for cover. But the Dragons cut to pieces there after the second try.
You were talking about Anthony Tupou, Andrew, and you said you liked what you saw from him, and it's speed, it's footwork, and it's the ability to offload, and that started that raid. And Anthony Tupou bust off to Craig Wing. They nearly get them down that right touchline, but the Dragons arrive in numbers and save a situation.
9 minutes remaining until half-time. Fox League Classics Live 2005 Anzac Day. Sean Hampstead not happy with the scrum. Ricky Stewart had a fairly decent blow-up at referee Paul Simpkins after last week's game for the send-off of Adrian Morley. It was Ricky at his best. Described it as amateurish and disgraceful. And Morley then exonerated during the week.
So Ricky was right.
Yes, the crux of his argument was correct. The language was colourful. Dragons too had success at the judiciary during the week. Sean Timmins would have been missing this game but had a charge downgraded. So he was cleared to play. Here's Ennis, a dummy half, kicking from the 40. He's got a fair skill set, Michael Ennis, and look at that kick. Oh! He's gone touch in goal. Only just from Michael Ennis.
Well, that was a metre away of being a super kick. Absolutely no angle to work with. Oh, there might have been an argument that it was the other side of the corner post.
Yeah, but the corner post is pointing in though, Brandy. These stupid corner posts. If it's not bowled upright, it's open to anything. If it's upright, it probably was in goal.
I'm going to say Michael Ennis got short-changed there.
Okay. Wing with the ball for the Roosters. Now Fitzgibbon. And up there in the tackle, Albert Torrens playing his 150th game today. The former Sea Eagle and Northern Eagle. Out there for the Dragons, just his third game of the year. Slow play the ball, wing. Incredible if the Roosters scored another try before half-time and establish potentially a 12-point lead, given how horrible their handling was early.
Well, that board meeting the Dragons were going to hold next week might be held at half-time.
Half-time. Yes, indeed. You had Ricky Stewart running out there to play for the Roosters at one point. He stayed off and his side hit the front. Now Barrett Thompson's been one of the Dragons' best so far. As Ennis working away for Colin Best. And Ryan Cross on him. Now Ennis. And flat pass there for Hornby.
Gee, that looked dangerous, floating out in front of Ben Hornby then. They need Barrett to take control here.
Oh, Barrett take control. Don't know about that. Oh, take control. What have you done to him, Brandy? Head and Barrett. And then they've been able to continue.
No, they can't. Hang on.
Whistle's gone eventually. Well, maybe one of the touchies spoke into his flag and said there were 5 knock-ons there, sir.
Well, there was a forward pass. There was a whole lot of things that went up. Was Trent Barrett offside? Did Matthew Head touch the ball?
You put the micro on Brandy. He needed to take control and he's dropped the pill. But Matthew Head didn't want anything to do with that football. And then there might be a bit of conjecture whether he touched it, went forward into Trent Barrett. But it looks like it's going to be a play the ball.
One of the best sideline officials in the business, Matt Checken, just gave us the thumbs up there. Thumbs up, Cooper and Brandy.
Well, they look so disorganised, the Dragons. So that will take Trent Barrett to stand up, as Brett Finch has done, and look after his team.
Meantime, their defensive troubles continue. Roosters plenty of territory. Wang has caught Marcus asleep. Marcus turned inside out.
Boy, he's been good wing.
Now Ricketson, 10 from the line. Finch with it. Finch, cross, obstructions the core. Walker's gone over for his second. The Dragons, who had their dramas last year on Anzac Day.
Well, he's got plenty to say, Lance Thompson.
Well, the Gasnier no try from last year. They're still spitting chips about. What happened here?
Fitzgibbon goes through.
Well, he doesn't get really impeded, does he?
No one.
No.
Unless Finch has caught the ball, unless he's passed the ball to the runner who's inside Fitzgibbon. No, he's outside Ryan Cross. Ryan Cross is outside Fitzgibbon when he catches the ball, I'm sure.
This has to be try. Ricky Stewart, John Cartwright, the coaching staff there on the sideline. Finch is confident, but still we wait. You never want to put your life on it. Paul McGregor out there as trainer for the Dragons right now, and let's try. I don't think they can blow about it, the Dragons. And it could be a 12-point lead at half-time.
Roosters fan, you got no Brad Fittler, but you got Brett Finch. All the creativity in the world, and he's been going down that left-hand side a lot. He went down there first for shape to let Craig Wing go through, and then what gets Colin Best and Mark Gasnier caught up is he fakes the kick. Ill timing, not the best line there by Fitzgibbon, but out the back to cross. A little bit of disconnect by the centre and the winger defensively, and that allows Walker to get the ball down in the corner.
Just by the by, I think I saw a young fella I know, good young footy player, Josh Reynolds, a young Roosters fan there, cheering on that try here on Anzac Day, watching the game. I think he's got quite a future too. So Fitzgibbon, where he landed the last one from, at 16 points to 6. They trailed 6-0. Craig Fitzgibbon! Perfect from Fitzy for 18 points to 6. 4 to go. First half, Fox League Classics live from 05.
You might have seen Josh Reynolds. I think I just saw Peter Dowson, the board, walking down the stairs to the dressing room.
With knives.
That might happen. The Craig Wing run, and we just said how good he's been since he's been on the field. The wing run got them in position. The Dragons had enough defenders there to handle that situation. As Cooper said, they handled it poorly. Another staggered line that they offered the Roosters attack.
So it is all the Roosters all of a sudden. That solemn look on the face of Nathan Brown. I don't know what his halftime address is come round 7, given 5 of the last 6 weeks his team has leaked so many points. They're on target again for in excess of 30 against them. Impossible to win football matches conceding that many. Finch will kick from inside the 40. His team is in front. He's playing good footy as well. And Best is with it for St George Illawarra. Boy, don't they need a try inside the last 3 minutes here. If you could buy one on eBay, you'd be looking it up now. Here's Gasnier. 11 metres inside his own half. Thompson, short side there, but Finch is on him. Now Gasnier. It is Torrens. Not really sure the role that Albert Torrens has come on to play. This time with Ennis. Lovely thick black hair he's sporting here. I think he touches it up a little. Here's Young with the ball now. So last tackle with 2.5 to go in the first half. Matt Head kicks with intent. Back towards the post. Got it all under the left on. What happened there? Walker and Minicello. Someone introduced the two. They're teammates. And the Dragons have got a gift from God right on half-time. No right to be scoring there.
Well, the kick from Matthew Head was a good one, but wasn't great, and it shouldn't have resulted in what's happened. It shouldn't have been a try because the Roosters, 2 Roosters players, one of those, Anthony Minicello, got there with a mile of time to clean it up. Head back towards the goalpost, had a chaser down the middle. Chris Walker's there.
Nice.
Walker. He got an awkward bounce at the death, but both of them should have been able to do a better job than they did.
I think the Dragons executive team just hit the pause button in the lift on the way down. They've got it. Oh, look at that. Just the confusion between Walker and Minicello and Hornby. Just pushing up the middle, just in case something happened. Bad bounce, and there's Hornby. Jumps on it.
Well, that's what they needed, Andrew. You were just talking about the try required before half-time. Just over a minute left. Head will make it 18-12, and that just might save Nathan Brown at half-time.
That is almost divine intervention. Whatever happened there, the bounce of the ball, the collision of Walker and the safe Minicello. 18-12. Roosters over Dragons a minute from half-time. Fox League Classics live, the 2005 Anzac Day match. Well, it's had some drama, no doubt about it.
Well, the magic of Anzac Day just might have favoured the Dragons there. Because although they dominated the opening 10 minutes, it's been all the Roosters since then. They've pulled one out of nowhere.
It's taking as much time as he can on the restart. Like he was putting down a raw egg onto the tee. And then goes long and fielded by Hornby. 2 tries next to the name of the Dragons fullback. Paul met strongly there in the tackle of Tupou. So final seconds of the first half. Young in a running role in the forward since the introduction of Ennis. I mean, they'll have to be happy with that. 18-12 is where they'll have to be happy with scoring the last try of the half. And here is the last play. Ennis, and infield for Paw. Nothing fancy. That'll do us. Fox League Classics Live, Anzac Day 2005. Let's take a break. The Roosters leading the Dragons by 18 points to 12. Good to be with you on this Anzac Day Fox League Classics Live. It is 2005. The venue, Aussie Stadium, the Sydney Football Stadium. And for the fourth year, it is the Dragons and the Roosters. And what's more, for the fourth year in a row, playing a close one. 6 points is the margin. Could have been 12, but the Dragons getting that try right on half-time after a disastrous moment in goal for Anthony Minicello and Chris Walker. Well, it started off as I was thinking, Roosters in for a terrible afternoon. Dragons going to correct all their woes of the first 6 rounds, but something happened. It was an odd first half.
Yeah, they couldn't have got off to a worse start, the Roosters. They dropped the first 3 balls that they handled, and that was inside their own 20. That gave the Dragons an opportunity to put the first points on the board. They trailed 6-0, but things just flipped around. Then the Dragons started making mistakes, and on the second set that they had inside Dragons half, Brett Finch, who's had a great first half, just threw a dummy. A huge hole opened up in the Dragons' defence. He was able to turn the ball back onto Anthony Minicello. That made the score 6-all. They then scored again through Chris Walker after nice play, and the ball from Ryan Cross was an absolute beauty to give Chris Walker an uncheckered run to the line. But the Roosters really dominated 30 minutes of that game, and it was tough. But and then they were next to score through Chris Walker again, Cooper.
Yeah, the Roosters like this left edge. They're trying to have a disconnect between Gasnier and Best, putting lead runners inside Gasnier to try and get on the outside and put Best under a 2-1 situation. He's
had quite a day, Mark Gasnier, the good and the not so good. Now let's talk about the Dragons' tries. Ben Hornby sort of bookended the half, scored early, got the one a minute out from the break. Yeah, obviously a poor start from the Roosters gave the Dragons this field position, and we spoke about in the call about the precise passing of Trent Barrett, just getting Hornby on the outside of Amos Roberts. And here it is. This is a set play. Left-footed head back inside. Hornby's pushing through. Try to drag Minicello across, and here comes the confusion. But ever reliable Hornby there for put pressure on and jump on it. But we see it from this angle. He's pushing through as if it's set play. Doesn't look like it's been covered. And then look, bang. Hornby jumps on the confusion between Walker and Minicello.
That was 2 minutes before half-time, and we said that they needed some sort of miracle to get themselves back in the game. They trailed 18-6, and it just might have been delivered to them then, because they should have been able to clean that up, the 2 Roosters, but that allowed the Dragons to score, and now they're back in the game. All right, the 3 previous years on Anzac Day, Roosters, Dragons, it has been decided by 4 points or less. Can this game go the same way? Dragons coach Nathan Brown, his entire coaching future could be on the line. They'll have more after the break. Fox League, not even Fox League, but Fox League Classics Live right here. Fox Sports Australia, Channel 502. The year is 2005. Fox League Classics Live, second half underway at Aussie Stadium. And the Dragons with possession, trailing by 6 points against Ricky Stewart's Roosters. Nathan Brown, a man under fire. His team, those stats going into this game today, through 6 rounds of the season, had average conceding 32 points a match. Only 1 win. They sit second last on the ladder. And the Dragons with Riles, he's wearing jumper 25, the front rower. And now Ennis on to Thompson. Too many runs today where Lance Thompson hasn't made decent ground. He's been one of the Dragons' better players. Ennis here for Barrett. And dropped off there for Paw. And nice low tackle coming in from Tupou. Now Barrett and Matthew Head kicks from halfway. Safe set from the Dragons. In fact, a very pleasing set, I would think, for their coach. And by the textbook, they go the distance and a scrum to pack 10 out. Yeah, that's the sort of start they were looking for. I know they finished the half with a try to Ben Hornby that got them back in the game at 18-12, but 20 or 25 minutes prior to that, they couldn't get themselves out of their own half. So Nathan Brown would be pretty happy with that start. Yeah,
it's a big 10-minute period for both teams here. They weren't both at their best in the first half, but both coaches have gone to their bench. So Faso, Hannett and Tupu are out there for the Roosters. Poor Ennis and Torrens on there for the Dragons.
And the Roosters got the job done last week against the Bulldogs with only 12 men for the last 32 minutes. So they've at least got more winning form on the board than the Dragons. Hannett, strong carry of the footy. Haven't seen Willie Manu yet for the Dragons. And this will be Ricketson to play it. 32 years of age, debut way back in 1991, Luke Ricketson here. 5 inside their own half, the Roosters. Wing on for Finch. And a Finch's kick as, it was a late decision to play at it. It was going to be allowed to go into touch, and Colin Best then thought, oh no, I might as well have a crack. And he's got it 10 away. And the Dragons start a set inside their own half. With the ball, things could have been if you had sliding doors. They don't get to try going into half time, and then the Roosters score first and it's almost game over. It could be 24-6, but they're down by 6. And perhaps growing in confidence. There's the determination of Thompson on show again. Ennis to Barrett, able to run a long way there, Barrett. Fitzgibbon eventually got him. Last tackle, pretty good set for the Dragons, and Ennis goes long and high, right across. Minicello lets it bounce towards Monahan. And Matt Head gets around the legs there. So 2 good sets from St George Illawarra in their second half. Through 3.5 minutes. Craig Wing on for Tupou. And 3 defenders attracted in there. Crowd getting into the match early in the second half. They want the big finish like they've had the 3 previous years. This time for Richie Fayoso. Young and Ennis, the defenders. Now on with Ricketson. And Torrens gets there in the tackle with Riles. Quick play the ball for Finch to kick off the outside of the boot, back across the face of the posts. In the end, a fairly friendly bounce to Colin Best.
Well, Finch and Minicello thought they could do a head and Hornby there, flicking it back through the middle of the field, but a bit too long from the kick from Finch there, but look for doing that in back end of this half when there's some lazy forwards getting through the middle.
A fairly safe start to the second half for both teams, and now Young with the ball. Certainly different to the dropsy of the Roosters early in this one. Ennis taking off. Former Knight. Just his 26th game in first grade here today, Michael Ennis. Now with Riles, clipped a little high there. It was Finch in the tackle. Ennis and Torrens across with Head to kick over the top. Monahan got a nasty bounce. Big wrong-un turned on him. Off a good length. They've still got the ball, the Roosters, but it could have been really nasty for Joel Monahan.
Yeah, nice touch there, Matthew Head. Brett Finch has put in some good kicks in the first half. Matthew Head there just finding the ground and the bounce, almost producing something for them with Cooper coming through. I think both coaches will be happy. They have been safe sets, but both teams been able to get through them. Couldn't do that in the first half.
Wing deciding to run that time, but Riles on him fairly quickly. And he's been a factor, Craig Wing. Started off the bench in jumper 9. Down to Hornby. Both Hornby and Walker try doubles in this one on Anzac Day 2005 so far. A year on from an amazing day in the career in the final season of Brad Fittler. That's good footwork from Nagama. Loose pass, then Head. And along for Young, and now for Cooper. Haven't seen much of Cooper in attack today. Just hasn't gone his way out to the left. This is Head. Floating it across for Barrett. Then for Gazdia. Loves early ball. Lovely step, Gazdia. Caught in the tackle of Finch. Quickly out with Ennis. He knows it. Needed left. Offloaded. Nice play. Ennis wrapping around Paul. Intercept. And Monahan comes up with it for the Roosters. Monahan has beaten 2 and 3. Hell of an effort from Joel Monahan.
He took a bit of a risk there, Monahan. He came right up into the attacking line of the Dragons. And he was fortunate the pass. He had to reach high to grab it, but he was fortunate to pull it in because there was Dragons on the outside unmarked.
Ricketson back into the Dragons half they go after surviving a little scare there. This is Ryan Cross. Cross-Gaznia has been a good battle today in the centres. Wing for Finch. On for Tupou. There's the offload, but that time not good. Cooper's with it for St George Illawarra. So what was I called it a safe start to the second half for both teams. Now it's all gone a little frantic. 18-12, 7 into the second half. Fox League Classics live. And Michael Ennis. Barrett, Thompson beats another. How many has he beaten today?
Well, he's been a handful, hasn't he? Very good, Lance Thompson.
Barrett and Head, and then quick wrap around with Young for Cooper. Oh, Best. If he latches onto that, I reckon he scores. Cooper knows it.
How good was the work from Matt Cooper? How about a drag in Joel Monahan? Just a little one-handed flick. He had a play at it, Colin Best. There was Minicello coming across, but I think Best gets there if he takes that ball. He gets a well-deserved rest, Lance Thompson.
Well, he should have taken it, shouldn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Went straight through his hands.
The little wraparound play down the left-hand side for the Dragons worked twice now. Innes threw an intercept the first time, but caused a little bit of damage. And as you said there, Brandy, Colin Best catches that. He's in the corner.
And despite the Dragons' poor form, Best has scored 4 tries this year. Now Cross, an offload for Walker. Close to the sideline. Don't know about that, Chris. Did well to stay in the field of play in the end. Kalis with the ball. Better from the Roosters, and Craig Wing loves an opportunity to run.
Oh, fell awkwardly. He's okay.
Poor the defender. Now Finch with the bomb. At 18-12 to the Roosters. 8.5 into the second half. Ben Hornby. It's opened up for Hornby. Offloading for Cooper. Minicello across. Oh, Mini. Beautiful play, but great attack from the Dragons on kick return. Head with the ball. Ennis gets caught with it. 20 away, maybe not caught with it. He's got a long way across field. 11 from the line. Gaznia, dummy half. Roosters need to regroup here. Barrett to Riles, pokes the nose through with a right arm free as well. Ricketson to make the tackle. The play the ball was messy. Heads kick, found its way to the in goal, and Roberts forces for a line dropout.
What's he looking at? Here's the run from Hornby. Terrific kick return. Poor chase from the Roosters. A couple of forwards down there leading the chase.
Great tackle, Minicello.
The great movers, the 2 centres for St George Illawarra. I know it's been a bit of a mixed day for Gaznia, but you're still seeing those glimpses of absolute class. And now Cooper coming into his own in the second half. How blessed for a club side to have 2 representative centres like that. Now Ennis. And ahead, back for Poor. Morley there with Tupou. Michael Ennis has done well. Oh, Barrett! Trent Barrett, not his best day on this big stage. The 05 Anzac Day battle. The frustrations of the Dragons in 05 on show.
Well, they don't want to get back to what they were doing in the first half, and we saw their confidence just wane away from them. And now Trent Barrett spilling one with a full set inside Roosters territory.
Just can't keep the pressure up, St George Illawarra. Couple of handling errors today for Trent Barrett. 165th game of his career. Roberts hasn't really been a factor in attack, has he, Amos? Not sure whether that's going to be long-term, wearing the 6.
Oh, that's forward.
And there it is. Now this is where you need your captain, Trent Barrett, to stand up. Their best attacking player. They've been going sort of back and forth with a couple of drops, couple of errors here and there. He hasn't had the best day with his hands, Trent, up until this point. But if the captain's got to lead by example, play some nice plays. If it doesn't come up with a big play for a try, get a repeat set. Just start building some momentum. Give confidence to your teammates and get back into this game. At least give yourself a chance to draw up with half an hour to go.
Minicello won't want to watch the replay of his dummy half play there. Has led to the Dragons scrum feed, and there'll be a differential penalty from this scrum as well. They're all offside in the quick tap. Hampstead says, no, hang on a second. Michael Ennis, don't be a pest, just take a tap. And both the hookers that have come off the bench have
added
been
something.
very good.
Yep.
Ennis and wing. Now Bailey. He looks good in red and white, Michael. I think he should stay here. There he is, switching the play to head and on to Cray. Cray is only 4 metres away from the line. Big set for both teams right now. Ennis. Oh, Bailey didn't want a piece of it. Went in on the bounce to Barrett. And Barrett held down by 3. Flannery. Crocker across there as well. They slow the play, the ball down. Barrett and Crocker. Bit of push and shove. Head with the ball. Oh, Kalis picks him up in a most ungentlemanly way. You could call that getting in ball and all.
Well, he tipped him. He didn't go through with it, but he got him into a dangerous position. That was bad enough.
Well, he found a handle. Willie Manu's out there for the Dragons, only half a metre short of the line. Ennis, big chance for St George Illawarra. Oh, Bailey's caught eye by Morley, got him around the collar. And finished off by Crocker. There's a tough duo in defence. Timmins with the ball. And Dragons still 9 out. Stacks of time left, 27 to go. Ennis to Barrett. Barrett onto Bailey. Bailey in front of the sticks. Held in the tackle of Crocker. Ennis, there's set left. Barrett over the head ball, mind you, from head. Well, that's the unconventional, and it hasn't paid off.
Unconventional. What about the skill from Matt Head? Normally first receiver on this occasion, he's out the back. Oh, big hit. Manu into Crocker. And this game's taken a little bit of a turn. I think there's some feisty action, and Crocker is front and centre of everything.
And there he is, flapping around. Oh, well, what do you do there? Oh, the Dragons fans are going to love it. And Michael Crocker, he was like a fish sitting on the jetty that has just been caught, flapping about. And fish and handling doesn't really go together.
Well, he was just trying to get up, but then forgot about the football. Willie Manu might have made some contact, but gee whiz, not happy Michael Crocker with that, and neither with the Roosters.
Thought Finchie was going to butt him in the head the way he ran in at speed. Now Cooper's with the ball. Well, he would have seen it all if a teammate had butted a teammate. Back. Oh, Timmins! Timmins is over for the Dragons. It's almost come out of the blue for Sean to find a passage to the try line. But he did it. And we could have 18 all in just a moment.
Well, he's a strong ball runner, Sean Timmins. Very hard to pull down. He broke through a couple of Roosters defenders, able to drag. I think it was Minicello at the try line. Not much happening. Cooper stops, props, comes back on the inside. Plenty of time there to get to him. Everyone hung off and looked at him. No one wanted to go at Sean Timmins. He was circled by Roosters defenders. Quickest route to the try line, but was taken by the Dragon. They're waiting, then all of a sudden he takes off, gets through Minicello, takes Finch across the try line. Could be squared up if Head kicks this.
Just the power running from Timmins. Sees a couple of small men in Minicello and Finch, and big kick, and Head converts. As you said, Brandy, just the power running of Timmins. Gets a couple of small men 10 metres out from the line. Finch and Minicello thought they might have some assistance from the inside, but the power of Timmins just got those legs pumping from 10 metres out and carried Finch over.
Well, this has really livened things up. Fox League Classics live, 18 all. One of the Illawarra Steelers scoring the try there, Sean Timmins. And we have 24 minutes to go. The Dragons just out from halftime, trailed by 12. What a Odd way the score has fluctuated through today, from 6-0 up to 18-6 down and now 18-all. Bailey for the Dragons. Roosters don't want to embarrass some big name defenders. Were in the vicinity but couldn't make the tackle on Timmins for the try. So now Ennis and Head pushing along. Why not find Sean Timmins? Man of the moment. Back up to the 40. Ennis with it. Hornby and Manu. Manu's got an offload very late there. And the two replacement dummy halves go well. It's hard for the coach to take them off. Certainly wing for the Roosters. There's Ennis showing his skills. Kick over the head at a dummy half. Takes a left turn. Minicello has to play it. Look at the Dragons chasing. Oh, Bailey almost got him. With the skills of Michael Ennis. Perfect kick. Roosters with Monahan. There's a little more intensity about the contest right now, and it's the Dragons that are leading that. They haven't conceded a point in this second half. The defence has been such a bugbear of theirs in 2005. Fitzgibbon onto wing, around the back. Oh boy, into the clutches of Cray goes wing. I think Cray's a little the worse for wear after that. Wing back for Kalis. Yeah, Cray's up, but I don't think he's 100%. Finch will kick from inside to 40. Knocked off his feet by Ennis. And Colin Best, we all believe probably should have had a try in this second half, takes the tackle. Head on. Could it be the match that turns the Dragons' season? From 12 down. Is it defence or attack that's going to get them home today? I'm not really sure. Manu tackled. Right on halfway, Gaznia. And this time with Timmins. Again, the three previous Anzac Day matches decided by 3 last year. 2003 and 2002, both by 4 points. They've been close. A kick has Monahan going back. It's touched the line. Only just, mind you. Doing a lot right at the moment, the Dragons.
Hey, nice kick from Head. Just rolled it into some space there. Beat everyone across the try line. 32, just over 32,000 at the footy stadium. It is a great day, Anzac Day, and you're right. I think this will become a special one on the calendar. The Roosters Dragons have been terrific matches the last 3 years, and this is going to be no different. Looks like it. 18-all. Looks
as though both teams are front-loading their energy defensively, because 18-all with 20 to go, they obviously don't want to make a mistake with the football. So put all your energy into the defence, and hopefully the opposition makes an error. But I think it needs an X factor from an individual player. I think Finch looks likely for the Roosters. I think Trent Barrett, Mark Gasnier, Matt Cooper, the attacking centres, look more likely for the Dragons.
Well, Andrew, you just spoke about the hookers. I think Craig Wing's the danger man. I think he's still got the speed and the ability, combining there with Finch, but they haven't had many opportunities in attacking space. Is that an error from Finch?
Oh, it is.
Dragons were looking for something like that. Front load your energy, put it all in with big hits, make them suffocate in the tackle, hopefully come up with an error in the play ball, and that's exactly what they got. They got a set start, haven't had that for a long period of time now, and as you said, let's see what position they get to the field and then set up for their play.
Not Brett's best moment right there. The Jackets are off on the bench with the Roosters coaching staff. Here's Bailey for the Dragons. Tireless worker in the front row. Again, you go through the names, the star centre pairing, Hornby fullback. You wonder how they could possibly start a season 1 win from 6 and be so poor. But they're a chance here. 18-all, into the final quarter we go. 19.5 remaining, in fact. Ennis for Head. Head on. Barrett's got a lot of time to move. Defensive back. Gaznia. Love it when he's got that little bit of move and time to put the shimmy on. The defence in front of him. The Gama and Barrett again. Kick over the top. Look good. Oh, bounces the way of Amos Roberts. Ennis was the man who was there. Roberts flying back. Just clipped by Cray. I'm pretty sure it was Ennis who was coming through for the Dragons. If he got the right bounce, he may have scored. It is so nerve-wracking for the coaches, and Crocker's up. Michael Crocker. Doesn't take much to for that kettle to boil.
Well, he won't want to turn the ball over again, Michael Crocker.
We don't need you to come in like that.
It's going to go his way.
They did nothing.
They needed that, the Roosters.
Rolling him over, not on.
They needed something to get them out of their own end. Their attack wasn't doing the job. Their kicking game wasn't going deep enough. That's silly from Willie Manu. That is crazy. They had their thumb on the forehead of the Roosters.
And it's just given Roosters big field position here. Willie Manu's always looked like a player that when he's getting a haircut, he suddenly realises he hasn't got enough coin in the parking meter and he's left before it's finished. There's always little bits and pieces sticking out somewhere. This is Crocker with the ball, 15 away from the line. And the Roosters hoping to regain the lead that they had at one stage by 12. Finch out to Roberts. Roberts, oh, Minicello through the hands, straight into Ryan Cross, so they get away with that. But it's been a while since St George Illawarra have had to produce some goal line defence. Needs to be on point here. Walker, Finch and Wing. Morley ran up, he got rid of Ennis, didn't get the ball though. Minicello a dummy half, better effort than his last one. Ricketson, and Cray is there. Looking for Finch to take charge in this set. Last tackle, Cross has decided on the last, have a crack himself. And then the ball just comes out, but there was nothing doing there in St George Illawarra possession.
I don't know if that was the play from Cross. Finch was in a dummy half, realised they didn't have a kicker at first receive, so he's got himself out. Told Cross to go in, expecting the kick across field to Monahan, but nah. Ryan Cross goes short side and come up with a poor effort.
18 all, 17 to go. Fox League Classics live. Cooper with it. And there is Roberts to make the tackle. Best able to go 10 metres at a dummy half. And Thompson coming back from the bench. The kick rushed by Head, but did very well with Minicello up close to the line. Look at this for the Roosters. Minicello. 5 out from his own line. Nothing but Dragons jerseys around him. Licking up Finch. Held the way across to Walker. But they only managed to make 5 metres on the play. Good result, Dragons.
A great chase from the Dragons. The Roosters thought by passing the ball, and it went 30 metres, that they might have been able to get on the outside, but right across the field was a Dragons chase.
Mayoso on the angle. Surely if we get into the last 10, then we'll start talking about field goal. A little bit too far out. Oh, Ricketson.
Boy, Flannery had a chance. Ricketson, the footwork, and then the ball inside.
Young. Oh, through goes Young. Looking to make the Roosters pay. And then a penalty. Head wants Crocker in the sin bin. Hampstead's whistle was very quick. And I think they're saying, let's go. Let's try and get in front here. Matthew Head comes across. But that, we go back to Ricketson. He's basically put Flannery away there.
Yeah, Flannery had every right to take that ball. It was a good one from Ricketson, who had to twist his body hard to get that inside ball away. And Flannery's just put it down cold. Now the Dragons just might hit the front. Dean Young off the back of that. Pushes away from Craig Wing, gets into the clear. And here's Crocker.
So Head to put the Dragons in the front of this scoreboard. He's done it. Splits the posts. Anzac Day 2005, Fox League Classics live. They're having fun. Dragons 20, Roosters 18. We have what we wanted from the 3 previous years, a cliffhanger. Who'd want to be a coach? Fair dinkum. The ups and downs in this match here. Drop balls, penalties, scoreline changes, and another change of lead with the Dragons in front. Roberts into the next passage we go. 14 remaining, crowd in excess of 32,000 at Aussie Stadium. And it is Manu on the first play. Ennis Now for Riles with a bandage on. They're still going at each other. Starting front rowers, Morley in the tackle. Thompson, another run. Cross bumps him down with Fitzgibbon, but quick play the ball from Lance. Nice work. Ennis. Dragons in the lead and definitely on top a shade here. Timmins with it. If they are to go on and win, the post-mortem will show he scored a crucial try in this second half. Now with Ennis, his kicking skills again. He's got the range well, hasn't he? Minicello with the ball. Oh, well, the Gama's trying to trip. Flat on his back. Can you get penalised for an attempted trip? Because I don't think I've ever seen one more blatant attempted by Wes Nguama.
Oh, he's just fortunately to miss Minicello. The return back down the sideline. Oh, Wes is going to get in trouble.
Fourth game in first grade.
He tried his hardest to make contact.
Well, he did. He on his back at full stretch to try and trip him.
Well,
That's a swing as well.
Matt Cooper had slipped over, so Minicello thought he'd go down the sideline, but Cooper was able to push him out. That saves Anthony Minicello. The penalty against Wes Nguama now.
Yeah, well, he has made contact, so you have to penalise. So if he misses him there, can you be penalised?
Well, I don't think so.
I don't think you could be
because
attempted trip.
If a swinging arm went over the top and misses, well, you don't get penalised.
So it's only because he made some minor contact, but his intent was basically to sweep the leg towards the SCG.
Well, his wing out a dummy half.
Oh, he's good, isn't he? Craig Wing under Crocker. 20 plays 18. Fox League Classics Live Anzac Day. Finch is away. Flannery on another run. Suddenly the Roosters have gone 70 metres. Minicello, short side Crocker. They have wound it up a few notches here, Ricky Stewart's team. Finch with it. Kicks a bomb from 12 metres out. Nguama underneath that. The ball is loose. It's there. Cross has got it. Cross has got it for the Roosters. My first impression is try.
Was there a touch from Chris Walker?
Hampstead has sent it off to the video referee.
That was the best set by a long way from the Roosters in this second half. They had some life in them. Finch's kick, they're all onside. It is Walker that goes up against Nguama.
Now missed it, Brandy.
Well, if Walker hasn't made a touch on the ball, it's going to be a try.
Yeah. And if Cross has got it down, it's one heck of an effort. Watch the work that Cross has to do.
This is the key here. Walker touches it. Oh.
I can't be sure.
No.
Yeah, Cross does
Gets it
fantastically well to get the ball down and control it.
He never has it in the hands. They've given it a try, only haven't had it wedged between fingertips. Young Josh Reynolds is celebrating again, this young Roosters fan, because they've hit the front again, 22-20.
Craig Wing said, put that down to Craig Wing. His acceleration out dummy half creates a bit of space, the Roosters down their right-hand side. But young Nguama has bookended this try with a poor effort down the other end trying to tackle or trip in Minicello, and then he's under pressure, one-on-one with Walker. Big kick from Finch across field. The knees are shaking from Nguama, and so they should be. Walker comes, doesn't get a touch. Ryan Cross, good hands, and gets the ball down.
Well, that's the only set the Roosters have looked like a football team in the second half. It's been all the Dragons, all the field position, Amos Roberts to go 4 in front.
Big kick it is, he's got it. Roberts, who back in 2000 had that equal record points haul of 22 points for the Dragons against the Warriors. I remember the day, the post-match interview, they said, do you realise you had got the last kick, you would have set the record for most points on debut? And he said, well, maybe next week. It was one of the great answers of an interview I'd ever heard. But there you go. There's just a rugby league story from the past, from famous Amos. So Stewart, I don't think he'll sit down. You may as well give his chair to Laurie Daly or someone. He's up on his feet for the rest of the day. Why Laurie would be down on the sideline, I got no idea. Morley's back over the 20. Wing with it. Oh, Richie boy, Richie Fayoso, his hands can let him down. He's such an aggressive hustle and bustle player, but the occasional error. There's one there. And suddenly advantage Dragons at 24-20.
I think the Dragons have got to go left. You've got to create that indecision with Amos Roberts, who's only playing his sixth start in the halves, so he's defending in a different position than he's used to. So I think they need to go left here, the Dragons, and ask some questions of the Roosters right.
Barrett and Thompson, still 10 minutes to go. So many pressure minutes to go, in particular for the Dragons, with just one win. Oh, Cooper got a hard and high pass from head. And poor old Nathan Brown. It's where he's close to tears.
Well, Richie Fayoso would be feeling a lot better now with Matt Cooper putting that one down. The Roosters put one good set together and came up with points through Ryan Cross. But that's all they've been able to do in this half. They turn the ball over, give the Dragons another shot. But they weren't good enough. 4 points, just over 9 minutes left.
So Roosters will come out of trouble with Morley. Fox League Classics Live, the match you wanted to see, 2005, Anzac Day. It's the 4th year of what is set to become a long-running tradition in Riles. Ned Crocker, Falcons paw, and that's on! Taste my knuckles, says Justin Paw as he puts it on the beak of Michael Crocker. And then they come running from everywhere. We've got 8 minutes 51 to go. Have a listen.
Lifting the report, right? There was push and shove, the ball was thrown, and then a punch was thrown.
All right, Brett. It was clear. You've come in. No, yeah, they've come in. They've said you've run in and got involved in it. You're going to the bin.
Oh, boy.
Come here. You're coming in. All right.
So Brett Finch is sin bin for running in.
And you've also thrown punches, so you can join him.
Well, if you're sin bin for running in, we could have lost
Penalty's going to you.
20 of the players.
Well,
Paw is off.
Well, he was dropped on his head, Michael Crocker, so I'm assuming the penalty does go to the Roosters. But to lose your halfback for the final 10 minutes of the game, that could be crucial.
Pretty sure that Paw, yes, he's in the sin bin. It is for a scoring punch. You got Crocker, Minicello was through, taking on Hornby. I think Ben was having flashbacks of Freddie Fittler from last year. Is he going to step left? Now wing on to Fitzgibbon, taking on Gaznia. Thompson. What a chance for the Roosters. It's 12 on 12 for the remainder of the game. Wing, Minicello. If the floodgates open, we could end up with 40-38 by the end of it. Webb is on a dummy half. With it is Ricketson. Tupou at the score. He just had to hold the ball. He's lost it. I'm not going to employ him as a waiter. He loses the whole tray of drinks.
I was thinking when Finch goes off, who's going to be the kicker? So on fit tackle, instead of going to the kick, Amos Roberts goes out the back and runs it and picks the Dragons apart. Tupou, all he had to do was catch it and over the line. But Amos Roberts shows his skill there moving in instead of kicking it. Second guess the Dragons defence and played short to Tupou.
Oh, Ricky can't believe it. That was the game there. They score there and possibly 8 or 10 up. That makes it almost impossible for the Dragons.
7 minutes to go. They score there. The Dragons have conceded 30 again and again. I mean, they're having a diabolical defensive season. 32 a game is the average. It's 24 against them right now, but they are still a hope. They have to cling to that.
Well, he's done well to hang on to that, Jason Riles.
Now Ennis stays out there. The Dragons cannot let the Roosters score again. They've got 7 minutes to find points of their own. Now Ennis with head. Barrett pushed along for Gaznia. He's taking on Cross. It's been one heck of a battle, that one. Cross v Gaznia. Quick play the ball, Nagama. Then with Barrett, steadies for the bomb. It'll come down near the post, this one. Minicello! Great catch. Yes, a line dropout, but that is a pressure catch.
Yeah, a great take and a fantastic kick there from Trent Barrett. He put it right on the try line. Didn't allow Minicello to catch it in goal, which would have been a 20-metre tap. Lobbed it exactly where he wanted to. And this will give the Dragons A fantastic chance. Gee, that's a good kick under pressure from Barrett.
Where's the Dragons board right at this moment? With the Dragons down by 4 and staring at dropping to the bottom of the table.
They're on a phone hookup.
Right.
just sharpening their pencils.
So Riles with the ball, 40 away from the Roosters line. Flannery the tackler. Here is Young. Young back to centre field, and Webb and Morley are there. Ennis and Wing have been terrific. Coach can't get either off. Barrett with the ball right out in front. Gazier crosses, knocked it out of his hands. The ball is over the sideline.
Hasn't
Cross.
it been a mixed bag
Gazier.
for Gaz? Just couldn't get on the end. It has been a terrific battle between those two, and he had Ryan Cross going sideways, and what Gazier is so good at is stepping back on the inside, but Cross done a great job. Great job defensively.
So Wing works that scrum. Final 5 minutes now in this Fox League Classics Live 2005 Anzac Day match. And Minicello on the run there. The two fullbacks have got a decent highlights reel from today. Cross down in the Barrett tackle. Surely the Roosters score next. That is all over. Ricketson short of halfway. Thompson and Ennis there. Webb on the run. He's not quite the dynamic dummy half that Craig Wing offers. This is Minicello on to Roberts. Roberts got away from one. Kicks for placement. Does well, in fact, to get it away from Hornby. The Gama will come back. Wes, they reckon his brother Kevin's not a bad player, his younger brother. Maybe a few years away. The Dragons on their 20. And Colin Best with the ball. Fitzgibbon working hard as always in defence for the Roosters. Riles, Fitzgibbon's there again with Morley. Now there's inside 4 minutes to go. And yes, both teams with a man in the sin bin. Roosters, their playmaker Finch, and poor for the Dragons. Thompson with Matt Head trying a chip over the top. He needs the bounce. He gets the bounce. Head keeps it alive. Cooper with the ball. Cooper has a glimpse of the line. More than that, he slid his way over the try line. Dragons fans are certain he scored. The video referee's going to have to say, but Matthew Head may have had the finest moment in his career right there, setting that one up.
And twice now in this game, Matt Head has pulled out a miracle off his boot. In the first half, it was a back on the inside kick that saw the Dragons score a try. Now a chip over the top, regather. Cooper stays up long enough to get himself to the trot. Oh, does he? Now, did he hit the ground and then improve his position?
Just
there was
the
no
touch
doubt he was
judge.
down short.
Well, Matt checking the touch judge, not going to be much help. Oh, he's saying no try.
Look at it.
He's done it sliding. He slid into third base.
That's momentum.
Yeah.
That's momentum.
Yeah, side on, you could tell that he didn't really extend the arm.
Video referee says try for 24 all.
Well, he did good, Matt Cooper there, because the cover defence got him short, I'd say 6 or 7 metres. Just watch the chip from Matthew Head. Perfect bounce. Sums things up, gets the ball out to Cooper. Still plenty to do, throws the dummy, takes Monahan out of play. Oh, front on it didn't look good. Side on, I think you can see that Cooper just kept that arm tucked in and momentum took him over.
Well, this is it. I said Matt Head, maybe the finest moment of his career. Maybe this kick will be the finest moment of his career so far. 34th match, 22 years of age. And he's got one in front of over 32,000. This is not the local oval down in Dapto. There's a lot more pressure on this kick. 24 all, 2.5 to go. With his side only having won one of its first 6 matches this year.
Left footer, not on his preferred side. But he did kick a goal from in a bit closer to the post on this side, which he struck beautifully. He hit it really crisp.
All eyes on Matt Head. For St George Illawarra. He's as focused as you can be. Matthew Head trying to put the Dragons in front. He has done it. Head puts them ahead. 26-24. What a stunning try and kick. And now 2 minutes to go. Can there be another chapter written?
Yeah, we thought it was going to be Trent Barrett or one of the centres as the Roosters go short.
Robertson is with a short kick-off. Everyone's on their feet. Minicello almost got it. It ends up with Hornby for the Dragons.
Oh, and Matt Head played a part in that too. Just got his hands on the ball, which knocked it backwards to Ben Hornby. Makes it tough now for the Roosters.
They might just get one more use of the footy, the Roosters. But even then, it mightn't be a full set. Thompson, they're in the go-slow mode, the Dragons, right now.
Well, the Dragons should be able to give the Roosters the ball back on their own line.
Forward pass! Forward pass with 70 seconds to go.
He can't believe it.
Nathan Brown, he almost fell forward over the edge. They'll have to catch him down in the concourse. The Roosters will get a full set. Michael Ennis is saying, how was it forward? Well, Michael, it was a metre forward.
Oh, boy, how do you get that wrong? With a minute to go.
Roosters 5 minutes inside their own half. Roberts on the outside. Minicello, Head is chasing him. Mini engages in a bit of a struggle there. Hornby as well. 50 seconds to go. To the difference. It's already an Anzac Day tradition. Roosters, Dragons, close finishes. Again, oh no! Famous is not so famous right there. And Ricky Stewart knows it. Amos loses the ball. And the Dragons now will try and count down the clock.
Well, that's the price you pay when you got your halfback off the field. Finch in the bin for the final 10 minutes of this game.
Michael Ennis, up he gets. He's got a cramp in the chest, I think, there, if that's possible. The Dragons with Timmins. Coach Nathan Brown may well have been saved. Timmins gets up. Here it is. Ennis with a ball. Drives it over the sideline. And a 1-5 start to the season becomes 2-5. But the way their fans are celebrating, it's like they've won a grand final. So dramatic, the finish. Matt Head setting up a try quite brilliantly for Matt Cooper.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be Trent Barrett or one of the centres, but Matt Head's been throwing long balls to left all day. Roosters come up too far on the right. Matt Head kicks in behind, gets the bounce, throws a bullet-like pass onto Cooper's chest. Minicello grabs him, 5 minutes short. Cooper does a tremendous job, and here it is again. Matt Head, chip and chase for himself. Regathers, gets him behind the defensive line. Long ball out to Cooper, and this is the space. Cooper's been wanting this all day, and he gets it and carries Minicello and the Roosters over the line.
It's an amazing play. It's great to see. It sort of reminds me of Greg Alexander at his best. Chip over the top, regather, set it up. And I probably should have mentioned the kick was a bit like one you had in the 91 grand final.
Very similar position it was as it was in 91. About 5 metres from touch, and Matt Head just absolutely nailed it. Left foot kicker, had been kicking at 85% coming into the game, and pulled off a couple of beauties, didn't he? With the first half try to Ben Hornby, the chip and chase, and then the kick to win it. A golden moment. Anzac Day 2005 for Matthew Head.
Yeah, what a pressure kick you see right there. The huge crowd, the mix of Roosters and Dragons fans behind him. He shut them out, and he couldn't have banged it over the middle any better. And that was the last play. Michael Ennis, who played really well for the Dragons. Plenty of drama in the game. A couple of players sin bin for the final 10. And Nathan Brown. Well, you'd take a hug from anyone after that. That was a hell of a ride through 80 minutes of football.
And that just continues the tradition that started in 2002, the fourth of these Anzac Day clashes between the Roosters and the Dragons, and another absolute thriller.
So the Dragons get the win, and yes, the Big V win the Anzac Day Cup. First time that they have the victory. It is a 2005 weekend here in Fox League Classics Live, because tomorrow, Sunday, from 3 o'clock, the Tigers and the Cowboys, those two clubs in their first grand final. It is an amazing game of football coming your way on Fox League Classics Live. Always great fun to call. Cooper, thanks for your time today.
Andrew.
Likewise, Brandy. We will see you next time on Fox League.
has been a Fox Sports production.